The Space Shuttle. The U.S. National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, operated the Space Shuttle, a decommissioned, partially reusable low Earth orbital spacecraft system, from 1981 to 2011 as part of the Space Shuttle program. The moniker Space Transportation System, STS, which was adopted from a 1969 proposal for a network of reusable spacecraft in which it was the only component funded for development, served as the official program name. 4 orbital test flights were conducted, starting with the first, STS-1, in 1981, and operational flights, STS-5, started in 1982. From 1981 through 2011, a total of 135 flights were launched from Florida's Kennedy Space Center, KSC, using 5 full Space Shuttle orbiter vehicles were created and completed 135 flights between 1981 and 2011, all of which were launched from Florida's Kennedy Space Center, KSC. Operational missions included the launching of several satellites, planetary probes, and the Hubble Space Telescope, HST, as well as the performance of science experiments in orbit and participation in the Shuttle Mir program with Russia, ISS. Total mission time for the Space Shuttle fleet was 1,323 days. The orbiter vehicle, with its 3 clustered Rocketdyne RS-25 main engines, 2 recoverable solid rocket boosters, SRBs, and the expendable external tank, ET, with liquid oxygen and hydrogen are all parts of the Space Shuttle. Like a typical rocket, the Space Shuttle was launched vertically, with the 2 SRBs working in tandem with the orbiters. There were 3 major engines, and the ET supplied the fuel. While the main engines were still running, the SRBs were destroyed before the spacecraft entered orbit, and the external tank was destroyed shortly before orbit insertion using the orbiter's 2 orbital maneuvering system, OMS, engines. The orbiter fired its OMS to deorbit and re-enter the atmosphere at the end of the mission. The orbiter glided as a spaceplane to a runway landing, often at the shuttle landing facility at KSC in Florida or at Rogers Dry Lake in Edwards Air Force Base in California. The orbiter was shielded during re-entry by its thermal protection system tiles. If Edwards was the landing site, the orbiter was transported back to KSC on the shuttle Boeing 747 that has been particularly adapted as shuttle carrier aircraft, SCA. Their names, in the order they were built, are Enterprise, Columbia, Challenger, Discovery, Atlantis, and Endeavour. The Enterprise was flown only within Earth's atmosphere, during shuttle approach and landing tests conducted in 1977. The United States Air Force considered utilizing a reusable piloted glider in the 1950s to carry out military tasks like reconnaissance, satellite assault, and the use of air-to-ground weaponry. The Air Force started creating the largely reusable X-20 Dinosaur in the late 1950s. The Dinosaur was developed in partnership with NASA, and in June 1961 the Air Force started training 6 pilots. The Dinosaur program was cancelled in December 1963 as a result of escalating development costs and Project Gemini being given priority. The Air Force also studied the viability of reusable boosters in 1957 in addition to the Dinosaur. The Aerospace Plane, a totally reusable spacecraft that was never developed past the basic design stage in 1962 to 1963, was based on this. The NASA M2F1, Northrop M2F2, Northrop M2F3, Northrop HL10, Martin Marietta X-24A, and the Martin Marietta X-24B were tested as a result of NASA and the Air Force's early 1950s collaboration on the development of lifting bodies. The program tested unpowered landing from a high altitude and speed as well as other aerodynamic features that would eventually be integrated into the design of the Space Shuttle.